All right. Hello, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers, and this is the eCom Sellers podcast. I have with me on this journey my co host, my partner in crime.
Kelly, the eCom mom ward.
And Kelly and I come to you every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time to talk to you about e commerce news, tips, and more. We were just cracking a couple of jokes about the fact that today, like we have to go through all of these 9,000 authentications just to prove you are who you are because I had to reboot before we started and it was not working out for me. Kelly was going to leave me in just a second because it took too long to get through the 9 layers of authentication. But anyway, I wish people weren't so evil and you wouldn't have to do all that. But it is what it is these days. So, in any case, our topic for today, before we get into the e commerce news, tips, and more, is we're going to be talking about thrifting. So, if you're a flipper, a reseller, Kelly, like, yes. If you're a thrifter, if you're a reseller, if you are any of those things, we're going to be talking about where to find products to resell. So you want to tune into that, share this out with a friend, let somebody else know about the Ecom Sellers podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page. We would love for you guys to continue to follow us and share it out with others. So subscribe to our channel. In any case, Kelly, what have you been up to outside of the 9,000 authentications we just went through?
Just been I renewed my library card. They're like, where have you been? It's been like since 2017 since you renewed this card. I know. I was like, well, COVID and you
Wow.
know, and I've decided they have an adult. Yeah. Every summer they usually have for the kids a reading program.
Yeah.
Get more reason. They're like, oh, we have an adult one too. So I signed up for that and made a goal of reading 10 books this summer.
Go Kelly. I love that.
So I got I'm reading one ebook. It's a historical book. I love history, so this is a history book. And then I'm reading Why You Eat What You Eat,
Okay.
which is very interesting. It goes to the science and why you might be eating certain things or why you don't like certain things, and like why you don't like why some people like spicy foods and other people cannot. So
Can't
it's
do it.
very interesting.
Okay.
Especially since I'm going on my this journey to lose weight and such, which I am wearing shorts for the first time in a couple of years. It's been a couple of years since I've worn. I call them shorts. They go to like they hit right below my knee, so they're not long enough to be capris, but
Okay.
they're. And I wore them to the grocery store today too, which like you know.
Well, I don't even wear shorts anymore. I haven't worn shorts in a long. I mean, I guess I have when we go swimming. I don't even wear a swimsuit. I wear biker shorts and a swim top, and that's it. I just like, yeah, I'm not even doing this. And then because I'm like, it's just too much. And then when I go work out, I'm normally in like some loose, almost like capri pants. So you're not alone. Like I haven't worn shorts in who knows how long. And every once in a while, when I do wear them, like if I gotta go from the, I just took a shower and I gotta go into the other room because my boys, then I'll throw some on, but they're not like something I'm gonna wear the rest of the day. Like it's just transition clothes to put on some other clothes. So you're not alone. Well, congratulations on this continued journey. For those who don't know, Kelly has lost some weight. How much have you lost so far?
A little over 40 pounds.
At some point I'm gonna say I lost 40 pounds too, but I'm not there yet. I think it'll be visible for sure in my face. It'll be visible. Be like, "Arr." But anyway. So this week has been interesting, or this past week has been interesting. My son got his driver's license. We had a bunch of last minute stuff that we had to deal with on Thursday, and so that he can go and take his driver's test on Friday. So that was fun. No, it wasn't. So I had to deal with that, and then I got some really sad news. I have, friends who are on different journeys than I, not because they want to, but because they have to be. And so one of my really close friends just found out that she was diagnosed with cancer, and I am not happy about it. So this will be the second friend that I've had that's been diagnosed with cancer. Cancer sucks. I am not a fan. Um, so we're going to be praying for her in tonight's in the entrepreneur Bible study for sure. This is just that. So, but anyway, that's about it with me. Just trying to get ready for an upcoming event. Guys, tune in. We have a major event that's coming. Actually, two major things that are coming up. And so I just want you to tune in, share this with a friend. Make sure you guys plug into the eCom Sellers podcast because we do have some major stuff coming up. So, with that, I am going to turn it over to Kelly so she can get the news. I got to go pull up my news. So, Kelly, the floor is yours.
All right. Apparently, there was a glitch that happened on eBay over Memorial Day weekend where when they switched people over to their new international shipping thing, it also caused some items that were out of stock to automatically populate with that they had these items in stock. So people were getting sales of items they didn't have or maybe were out
Ooh,
of stock or weren't on hand. So eBay says they're going to protect the seller's metrics because of that glitch.
okay.
So, if you had that happen and you need to, I had that happen before when it had this glitch happen. And, all I had to do is reach out to eBay for Business on Facebook and they kind of helped me out.
Okay.
They're also going to refund like the 30 cent fee that they take for whenever you make a sale on eBay. If you had any items that sold, and so they'll refund that fee.
Okay.
They're also announced that they're going to have a streetwear authentication. They already do authentication for like trade cards and some sneakers over $100 and such. So this is
Mm-hmm.
going to be streetwear that's for items that sell for over $200. They're going to go through the same authentication like for the sneakers, where the seller, once it sells, it goes to go to a warehouse in like New Jersey to be authenticated. Make sure it's not, you know, a fake or a ripoff. They're going to make sure it's real. So
Okay. Awesome.
they're going to start doing that. They're also in the processing of rolling out a feature that uses generative AI,
Okay.
artificial intelligence. Some sellers said they've kind of seen it already. Um, I'm not sure. I think the last time I did a listing, I was like, well, how'd that get on there? I didn't even go ahead and,
Type that.
yeah. So,
Yeah, I think we talked probably about, I feel like it was maybe about 2 months ago where we talked about that AI, that the majority of the listings on Amazon for sure were going to be created by AI by 2025 or something to that effect. So I think, all the platforms are going to be pushing towards that. It's not going to be uncommon.
yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about, I'm kind of a control freak. I'd be like, no, I don't want it like this way. I want it this way.
We'll see how it all pans out. It's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
All right. Etsy's, they're making some changes to their listing process with some new capabilities. Um, they're going to have, it's going to be, you're going to be able to navigate sections of your listing details faster.
Okay.
You'll also have access to a new performance tab for each listing,
Okay.
and then be able to keep track of what you've edited with a change summary in the footnotes of each listing.
Okay.
So, and of course, some sellers, everyone doesn't like change. Like, I'm not one who likes change,
Oh,
it, don't make a big change without giving me a little heads up, it's my ADD.
it's okay.
Neurodivergent people do not like change. I'm sure you're very aware of
No,
that.
my son, yeah, this is the way it's supposed to be. That was one of the biggest challenges of teaching him how to drive. But they're not supposed to do that. Yeah, the fact that they're not supposed to do it and the fact that they do it are two different things. So you need to be prepared for it. Well, I don't like that. Well, you can't control what other people do. You can't control all 3 billion humans on the planet. You cannot control them. So you just need to be prepared. It's called being offensive. Like be on the offense or the defense. Like you just always need to be prepared. But yeah, I get it, Kelly. The one thing that's constant, I try to tell him all the time, is change. Change is the one constant in life.
All
Kelly's like,
right. And
I still don't like it, guys.
let's see. Walmart.
Uh-huh.
Walmart's gonna let online shoppers to consolidate items to reduce waste. They're
Okay.
also stating that you might see a difference in if you buy something off of Walmart to be shipped to you, that they might be using more paper friendly items instead of plastic, like the bag, the packaging will be paper, and they're also going to be having technology to make the boxes fit their items better. So you're not getting an item that's this small in a box that's,
Yeah.
Amazon's already started that too. So you remember getting like you ordered like a little thing, you get a box about 5 times the size for it.
Yep.
So they're getting better at making more custom sized boxes for these items.
Yep. And Amazon's been continuing to do that. So yay, Walmart. Okay. Can you hear me at all?
That's what I'm trying to. I could.
Barely hear me?
There we go. Now I can hear you.
Okay. This is so annoying. I have to be like right up on the microphone.
Well, I had to fix something on my side too.
Uh-oh.
I apparently had the sound a little bit down. I was like, why can't I hear her?
Okay, can you still hear me okay?
Oh yeah, I hear you fine now.
Okay. All right.
Also, sellers can now buy domestic shipping labels on Walmart in their back office. Walmart will be holding a webinar on June 7th that will cover that and some other shipping topics they want to cover.
All right. Awesome sauce.
So, and that's pretty much all the news I had.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to pull up the news that I found. I did want to mention everybody, if you didn't know, SellerCon is happening, and so I know there's a lot of people that went to SellerCon. By the time you hear this, like SellerCon will be over. But the one thing I do want to encourage you to do is that put on your list of things to do, the different conferences that come up each year, so that you can attend them and set a budget. I would, maybe twice a year, every 6 months, look for things that are coming up 6 months in advance. So then that way you can sign up for it too, and use that as an opportunity to do some networking and or to help you set your plan for Q4. So like I said, by the time you listen to this recording, SellerCon will have already happened. So just be on the lookout for the other conferences, e-commerce related conferences that are coming up. I think Kelly and I have mentioned them over the last few podcasts. So you can always go back and listen to the replay so that you can see what we've talked about that's coming up. And there's a long list, and we'll bring it up again, probably in a couple of weeks. We'll bring up another list of ones that you should think about. So with that, this article comes to us from Business Insider. And it's talking about Target allowing parents to return entire wardrobes of outgrown, damaged clothes, clothing for cash on all items. So basically, you have the receipt, doesn't matter how bad it is torn up, the people are returning it. Now, I don't think that that was the intention of Target, but of course, the internet is the internet, and people on here on TikTok and on Instagram Reels are talking about that they were able to take some really worn out clothes back, and they got 100% of their money back from Target. So I'm not saying you try that, but what I do want you to be mindful of is, that kind of stuff, not cool, not good, not okay. And I know that each one of the platforms that we sell on, we have a return policy, and so does like Walmart and things like that. So if you happen to be a person that's selling on Target, you just need to be prepared for that. So Target's response to this particular article, I'm going to go down to the bottom because I actually could not believe that this person returned almost $500 worth of stuff. Again, you can just look for this article, but so Target says its response to their story. Hold on, I just had it. In the meantime, I had it earlier. Oh man. Hold on. I literally had this before. Worker. Da, da, da. Okay, here it is. So she said, uh, see, my son just literally walked in. Yes.
I'm still writing 100
Okay.
page.
All right. Well, I'm on the call. All right. So it says that the policy states that if you're not satisfied with your Target owned brand item, so it's a Target owned brand item. That's like Cat and Jack, I believe. Return it within 1 year with a receipt for exchange or a full refund. So that's what it says. And of course, this is Cat and Jack. Um, I don't know. I think this is crazy, but I just want you to be mindful of, regardless of which platforms you sell on, make sure that if it is a retailer's platform that you're selling on, like Walmart is a retailer's platform, that you fully understand what it is that the guidelines are for that specific platform so that you're not caught off guard when someone utilizes a loophole like this to be able to get a refund a year later, because we're all sellers and we're used to like 14 days to 30 days. And then, during Q4, it's expanded sometimes up to 60 days. Most of the time it's 45, but sometimes up to 60. But we're not used to this whole 365 days later, they can do a return. So just a heads up. Anything you want to add to that, Kelly?
Yeah, I am. I know some people use it and they like get, once their kid starts, because you get like babies and stuff, you can have them at 6 months and then they wear the outfit twice and next thing they're 9 months. So,
So, yeah, that is true. And Cat and Jack, they do have some cute stuff. So
hmm
they absolutely do. All right. So the next article comes to us from Yahoo Finance, and it's talking about Macy's and Costco sound a warning about the economy. We saw some articles in the last couple of podcasts where they're talking about the economy is continuing to slow. So they're saying that shoppers are pulling back on their stores and changing what they buy, and this could be a red flag for the economy. Well, we've known that shoppers have been pulling back. I mean, here's the deal. If you whatever you say in the news is going to have a direct impact and or effect on what people do. Literally. If you tell them, I don't know, something crazy like we're about to be invaded by ants, people are going to go out and buy, a boatload of pest control stuff, and then you're going to be surprised by, oh, now we have a shortage of pest control stuff. Well, you told them that we were about to be invaded by ants, so yes, like whatever you say, you bring into existence in the news. So I don't know why that they're surprised by this, but the economy had been slowing down anyway, and I think Amazon was one of the first to talk about it, and I feel like that was at least 9 months ago, maybe more, that we've talked about it in our podcast. So the fact that Macy's and Costco is sort of catching up at this point, I don't know. We'll see. But yes, people are changing their buying habits. And don't forget that close to 50,000 or 150,000 workers were laid off from different jobs, from different tech jobs over the last 6 months, 8 months, whatever. Started laying them off in December, January, February. So again, people are changing their buying habits because of the situations like that. So I don't know why you're surprised. But that means for you as a seller, if you're a reseller, be mindful of the things that you source and sell. And if you're doing private label and white label products, again, you definitely want to revisit the necessity of your product. If it's a luxury item, then there's, the number of sales may go down a little bit because it's luxury, but if it's a convenient, if it's a, something that's a need, then your sales are probably going to stay steady and you won't see the impact. So what you sell matters. The next one is this one article comes to us from Yahoo Finance as well. Even the Dollar Trees are hurting as consumers get more cautious. Again, they're continuing to talk about that. I think the biggest takeaway from these types of articles is just to be prepared for Q4, making sure that you don't overload yourself with a boatload of luxuries and that there's more of a focus on things that people really need. Yes, people are going to buy some fun and cool items for the holidays, but they may not buy them in the same quantity that they would have in previous years. So again, I would go back to maybe what you were selling in 2020 when, the pandemic hit and everyone was focused on necessities because they didn't know what was going to happen next. This is probably that same situation where people are not really sure what's going to happen next and they're only going to buy necessities. So whatever necessities you were selling in 2020, if you're a reseller, might be the same ones you want to consider selling this time around, because of the current situation. Anything you want to add to that, Kelly?
Uh, Also, people are probably buying less at the dollar stores because now their dollar buys less.
That's true. Instead of it buying $1 worth of stuff, it's $1.25 now. So I think this was Dollar General's input though, I think in the graph. But you guys can check these articles out from Yahoo Finance so you can see what they have to say and whether or not there's any implications or impact on you. This next article comes to us from CNN, and they're referring to or talking about cash on your Venmo or PayPal. So if you're a person that receives payments, or maybe you got a store and you're collecting payments through your PayPal, they would encourage you not to leave the money there, to move it out of PayPal, move it out of Venmo, so that there isn't something doesn't happen to it. As you know, as we've talked about at the beginning of this podcast, the 9 layers of authentication everybody has to do these days because criminals are just getting far more savvy. This is again one of those things, like, don't store cash there because there, something might happen. So move it to a regular bank, move it somewhere else instead of out in these apps. So that's just a suggestion to you. So if you're selling, just be prepared for that. And then this article comes to us from The Hill. I have no idea why I pulled up another Costco one, but they're continuing to talk about the recession. So this was Costco. I don't know why I pulled it up twice, but this one's from The Hill. The other one was from Business Insider or Yahoo Finance, one of the others. So again, you can check out this article as well, where they are talking about, the economy. And again, this is The Hill. So with that, I am going to transition over so we can talk about thrifting. Dun, dun, dun. As soon as my computer responds. All right. So if you don't know, Kelly is a fan of thrifting. She's
Oh,
a
yes.
definite, yeah, big fan, big fan.
Mm.
And so if there's anything that you want to ask related to thrifting, you can type it in the comments or you can submit a question to eCom sellers. We are happy to help you with that. Kelly loves those type of questions. You can type them in the comments. We'll definitely respond. But today's topic happens to be where to find good thrift items to resell. So if you want to make a note, if you want to get into thrifting, again, this is a great time of year to do it because people are having all kinds of sales. We're going to talk about where to find some of this stuff. And again, when they talk about the economy and people shifting where they're spending their dollars, more and more people are buying gently used items. This has been a trend over the last 12 months, 12 to 18 months. So there's money in it. So with that, I'll let Kelly take number one.
Yard and garage sales. It is yard and garage sale season. I'm in Texas, so we'll have garage sales going on in middle January, December. So down here, it never really stops. But up north, where they get the snow and the colder weather, they kind of have like what they call the yard and garage sale season, which usually starts, I would say, like in April and goes to maybe October or September, October, depending on where they are in the country. And there's lots of ways you can find yard and garage sales. You could just join your local yard and garage sale page, and people will post their garage sales or look for community. I love community garage sales and stuff better because you have a bunch all together and you just hop from house to house. And, you don't have to use as much gas. Some neighborhoods even have they print up little maps to show you who's having a garage sale, and you can just be able to drive to, to each, you just using the map. Um, and then also, there's lots of there's like the 100 mile garage sale, which is like in Tennessee, goes from Tennessee and goes through a couple of states, and people, they, I know a bunch of resellers, they get together, and go hit this 100 mile garage sales. They go from one and they start going down, and I don't know if they hit the whole thing or not. They just hit a big part of it, and they bring like a big old van and fill it up so that, because some people, this is how they get their inventory for the year. They go to garage sales and then they stock up over the summer because they know during the winter they're in an area that doesn't have very many garage sales during that time. So they have the inventory that they bought over the summer to go through during the winter. So, just do what you like.
100-mile garage sale. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Just for grins and giggles, we have to go sometime. That is absolutely insane. All right. Okay. Oh, sorry. I went too fast. All right. The next one is estate sales. So Kelly has talked a lot about estate sales. If you've ever tuned into the eCom Sellers podcast, again, if you have not, you can definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can not miss another episode of the eCom Sellers podcast. You can always go back and listen to the previous ones, but she talks about estate sales all the time. That's where she gets a lot of her vintage items.
Oh yeah.
Vintage clothes, vintage, things for the house, vintage jewelry at estate sales. You can find out about estate sales online that are happening in your area. If they are within a 50-mile radius, I think she would heavily recommend that you check them out and see what they have. So put it on your calendar so you know when they are, where they're located, and also if there's anything special about the estate sale that you'll know what, to expect and or what to do when you get there. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Kelly?
When you go to, I usually look at estatesales.net is the website I use. And a lot of times they will give you the parameters of the sales of like, we're only taking cash, or we only take credit cards if you buy over $100 worth of stuff. These days is going to be regular price, and the last day is going to be 50% off. And a lot of times they'll have pictures so you can, kind of look ahead of time at to see what's available, if it's interesting to you, if you're like, oh, this is all stuff and I really have no interest in that stuff, so I don't want to go to this sale, or and then you can, some people make little maps of like, little routes. So I'm gonna hit this sale and then I'm gonna hit this sale, or be like, I'm gonna hit this estate sale to, and then after that I'm gonna go to garage sales. So you can blend them together too. You don't have to use one certain way to get your inventory.
Yep. Again, this whole slide deck could just be Kelly talking. I'm just telling y'all. Go ahead, Kelly.
Church, I think that's what she's supposed to be, rummage sales.
Yeah, did I spell it? I spelled it wrong, probably. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I can fix it in just a second. Go ahead, Kelly.
But I love church rummage sales, mostly because there is no personal connection to the stuff. You have people have garage sales. They're like, oh, this was my grandma's thing, and I think it's worth, and they'll put, a large amount of money on it when it's really not worth that much. Or they're willing to sell it for a way less than amount than, you know, some people at garage sales. So you roll up to some garage sales and they have, oh, it's selling for this much on eBay. I'm like, yeah, but you got to think about people on eBay also have the sell, they have to figure in cost of fees and such. And they also have a wider amount of audience than your little garage sale. Anyways, but I can get stuff, that it's like cheap. You'd be like shirts and stuff with buck, and I'm like, love it, because you try to get a shirt at the thrift stores nowadays, it's $7, $8. So, I love church rummage sales. I can get, I sometimes you have to bring your own bags, so I make sure to bring my own bags. And a lot of times they will be advertised on Facebook or in like your local Facebook groups, for your local area, or even on garage sale websites. There's websites that people can put their garage sales on, and a lot of times the church rummage sales will be put on there too.
There you go. GarageSaleFinder.com is one of those that you may
Mm-hmm.
check out. All right. So next, if my mouse is moving, okay. Flea markets and swap mates. So flea markets are a great place to find things because you'll have a variety of different things. Some of the stuff is new for reselling. Some of the stuff is definitely used. And it's just a great mixture of different things. We have a couple of big flea markets here in the Dallas Fort Worth area. I'm confident Kelly has a bunch of them. She's near the Houston area. She's just north of Houston. But flea markets are a great place to find things that sometimes you can negotiate, sometimes you can't. I will say that. And swap meets again. Sometimes you can negotiate. Sometimes people are hard on their price. This is what I want. This is I'm not taking less than that. But you can find a variety of different things, from clothes to jewelries to accessories, handbags and shoes, to things for your house, household items, even electronics. Like, you can find a variety of different things. And you can also find stuff for your car. Like, it is such a huge variety of different things. So you just need to be prepared to potentially negotiate, probably have cash in hand. Sometimes money talks a whole lot better than if you got to swipe that card, because then they got to pay those payment processing fees. So if you're wanting to make some kind of deal, cash will probably be king, and that will help you hopefully secure a pretty good deal. But you can find some stuff that maybe others don't see, or that you don't normally see, or maybe something that is discontinued or no longer available because it was for a specific season. And so those are things that you can like sell online. Perfect example is, I don't know if you guys remember the Hatchimals. Those Hatchimals, like, if you still have them still in the box, like, you'll find some that are brand new at flea markets, still in the box, still with everything on them. And those things will sell like hotcakes because of the fact that they are unique, different, not available anymore, not made anymore, and people will want to collect them online. Anything else you want to answer that, Kelly?
Yeah, people also use it. There's lots of people who they buy storage lockers. They buy
We
the
haven't got to that one. We're getting to that one.
yeah, but that's how they get rid of their inventory. They just go to flea markets and swap meets. They don't want to, they might go through and pick out some things that they know they can get some good money for on eBay and such, and then take everything else to the flea market and be like, I only deal with stuff I'm going to make $75 or more, and anything below go to the flea market. And if you're willing, you know, and they're willing to let go for cheap because they just want to move on to the next storage locker.
Yeah.
So they want to move that stuff out,
Yeah.
and then there's also like people I know, one reseller, he specializes in tools, and that people don't really think about tools. So they sell them way cheaper on, because everyone's like, no one makes money on tools. And he's like, oh, yes, I do. And
Auto parts, like salvage yards, like they make money on parts that are shippable. We're not talking about a whole car or the fender of a car. We're
hmm,
talking about stuff like, people need, can you pull this off? Can you pull that off? And they make money off of that stuff. Yeah. All right. Next, Kelly. Look at that.
storage lockers. I
And
know
let me
people.
just say, I should have put on here also storage auctions, in addition to storage lockers. But anyway, go ahead, Kelly.
Yeah, this is like people who've gotten. I'm sure you've seen that those shows on was a TLC where they're
Storage
auctioning off
wars.
storage lockers. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Um, People who, you know, they can't pay their storage fees, and the companies need to recomp that somehow. So they auction off these storage lockers, and there's lots of resellers. This is how they get their inventory. I know of some that they get that inventory and they turn around and they auction off the inventory to other resellers.
Yeah.
And they go on YouTube and have auction shows and whatever, and they're like, I have this lot of, I don't know, fabric. He's gonna, and someone who likes to sell fabrics, like, oh, I'll buy it, and they both win. One gets inventory that they like, and the other one gets rid of the inventory that he just bought off of that auction. So, but you can find some good things in there. I don't think there's gonna be like TLC, and you're gonna find, some ancient sword from somewhere worth $10,000.
What is that? The Antique Roadshow? Is that what it is? Where they find
It's actually a storage locker show where they actually follow. There's like 4 or 5 different main characters, and they're at auction. They're at a storage locker, and they're actually bidding and auctioning, trying to win this thing. And they're all like, "Oh, I see this in there. That's why I want this locker." Or they'll be like, "Oh, this locker's bad. I don't want it. I'll let so and so bid on it. I know he probably get it." So, or they'll bid each other up. That's another thing. They'll bid each other up, even if it's a bad locker, because they know that person sees something and wants it, and so the other person's just bidding on it just to get the other guy to pay more money on it.
Absolutely. But what I was talking about was, yeah, that's the Storage Wars. But
Yeah,
which I've seen those shows. What I was talking about is like when they finally do think that they found something that's really, really good, then they take it over to somebody else to verify that, oh
yeah.
yeah, it was really worth something. And that's that. I think that show is like the Antique Road Show where they're like, okay, yeah, this thing really is worth $10 million. Oh my gosh. So anyway, so there you go. Great place to find inventory. So nonprofit stores, I think a lot of us have seen these, where nonprofits have their own thrift stores. So they might be the battered women's shelter or the foster kids, thrift store. Like they will have nonprofit specific named stores where they get donations and they take those products and they sell them based on whatever donations are given to them. So homeless shelters, women's battered shelter, just so many different types of nonprofit stores. Probably find some pretty decent deals in there. Sometimes the prices may or may not be a little higher depending on, where the donations came in from and what kind of money they're trying to raise. But it's like any other thrift store. You just be mindful of where the money is going to. So you might be able to find some items to resell. That might be some quality items because they may have gotten some really, really good donations. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Kelly?
All right, those are my favorite. My one of my favorite thrift stores in my where I am is it's called the Assistance League Thrift Store, and I know the last week of the month they always have a 75% off sale, and I'm there every week for that one. I don't go to that store every week. I'm trying to, I have a lot of inventory I need to work on listing, So, but I always make sure I'm there for that 75% off sale. And I went, it was last week, and I found some really nice stuff that, I, I got to get listed because it's not going to sell if it's not listed.
That's true. Can't make any money if it doesn't exist somewhere, for sure.
House and apartment clearouts. They're like, just like, people will rent a house and then they leave and they leave half their stuff there because they don't want to deal with it. So then they call in people to clear out the house. Or maybe grandma died and there was no one in the family to come clean it out. They got to call someone to clean out that apartment because, you know, they can't just have that stuff stay there forever. And people will go and they'll go through it and they'll take stuff to sell stuff. And sometimes they'll be picky and say, I'm going to go sell the good stuff and the rest of the stuff I'll give to, um, I'll donate it. Or if you can, maybe someone who does this and you can work together and they can give you, maybe they don't want to deal with clothes. They don't like selling clothes. And you're like, hey, I'll sell the clothes and you can work out a deal and maybe they could sell it to you for like really cheap. You know, some people get really good deals that way.
Yeah. Really, really, really good deals. So you'll find stuff like this, unfortunately, like with evictions as well. But
Hmm.
again, um, clear outs, and sometimes this stuff will be on the curb. Like you'll, drive past and it's been sitting there for like a day. Nobody has come to pick it up. It's like, okay. And people start collecting around it going, oh, okay, well, let's go through this. So
Hey,
you might find something. I'm just saying.
a friend of mine found a $300 teapot that way.
Oh, wow. There
Yeah.
you go. Stop it at the curb stuff. All right, so Kelly mentioned this already, but community and neighborhood garage sales. We talked about garage sales in general. A lot of people host that have their own garage sale, and like she said, here in Texas, like they're year round. They get really heavy around just before spring break. And so we have a lot of them like at the end of February, beginning of March. And then they, like she said, they will continue to have garage sales hard and heavy all the way up to like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. I mean, they still have them in November, December, and January, but it's hardcore during that window. So, like she said, in certain areas, it is not the case because you have colder weather. And so, being on the lookout for those community garage sales, those neighborhood garage sales, and when they have them, if there's one that you really, really like, you got some good stuff from in the past, make a note of it every year. So then that way you can either follow that HOA page or you can follow whatever the name of that community group is, and you'll know when they're hosting their next one. The irony is that indirectly, this is how I got started selling on eBay. There was a gentleman who had a grandson who's autistic. He's still here, sorry. His grandson's autistic, and they drive from community garage sale and neighborhood garage sale to community garage sale, neighborhood garage sale. They drive around with a truck and a trailer every single week. And they collect stuff. And he had a 17,000 square foot warehouse of inventory that they were trying to get it listed on eBay. And he was like, if you will list this stuff, I'll pay you to list it. And I was like, okay. So he would send me pictures. It was a 60/40 cut, and I would create his eBay listings for him. And then every time something would sell, I would ship it off to the customers. And then, he would get his cut and I would get mine. So, and that's off of, whatever the sale is, the final sales price. So it was pretty cool to actually do that. But that was what he did. He drove around to garage sales, community garage sales, and neighborhood garage sales where they could hit a bunch of places at one time versus trying to find these one offs, one or two. Somebody having a garage sale in this community, just one person, and then I got to go drive over to, 3 more blocks and go to somewhere else. And he was like, nope, I just want to hit the community stuff. So That is another strategy that you could take. Did you want to add anything to that, Kelly?
Usually these community neighborhood garage sales will have them the same time around the same time every year.
Yep.
So if you have your friends and stuff, they live in maybe a community like that. Ask them, hey, when does your neighborhood have their garage sale? Do you know? Did they they let you know, and so that you can kind of have a heads up. Like my parents, their neighborhood has one in April and they have one in October. So my mom always, hey, we're going to have our garage sale in a couple of weeks. Sometimes there's been times where instead of being going, well, I kind of go while we take turns. But I will go out and take stuff I've been trying to sell and it won't sell. Take out the dead stock stuff, and I take it and I make my own little table in her driveway and have a little garage sale there. Where because I know I'm gonna have there's gonna be more chance of having people come because it's a community garage sale, and I'm able to get rid of stuff that's not selling for me.
That is awesome. Um, there was something else I was going to say about the garage sales or community garage sales. It escapes me right now. If it comes back to me, I will share it. But there was a tip that I wanted to give that I found was helpful. So it's just my son came in here and distracted me. So now I've just like lost whatever it was that's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, what was I going to say? When she was talking about her dead inventory, um, it was something connected to the dead inventory. I'll come back to it. All right. So oh, this is yours, Kelly.
Secondhand and resale shops. So there's lots of consignment shops where people take in clothes and they do like a split of price, of how much. So you know, there's kids clothes consignment shops. There's adult clothes consignment shops, and they also maybe sell other stuff too. So those are always good. And also, not is this could you consider Goodwill in here too, or is
Yeah,
that
might as
different?
well. Yeah, might as well.
Goodwill. Everyone, I know a lot of resellers poo poo on Goodwill because the prices keep on going up, which I understand because I have seen it. The prices are a little. Sometimes I'm going, "Are you crazy?" And I'm like, "This is a dollar store item, and you have $3 on it." Hello. But you can still. I've still find stuff that they have marked, and I find for $5, and I've been able to sell it for 50. They just don't look at everything. Um, some stores you can see that they go and look on eBay to see what it's selling for and think that I should be able to get that here, and it's like, well, no. So, but with the resale shops or in the thrift stores and such in your area, get on there if they have see if they have a mailing list or if a Facebook page or something that you can follow and get on, and you can find out what their sales are, um, what kind of sales strategy they have. As I love to do is to find the stuff on sale that people have missed. Especially I do vintage items, so I mean, and I find vintage stuff in the Goodwill people have passed up because a lot of people are looking for video games or certain brands of shorts or something, and I'm like, I just sold this vintage 19 bathrobe from the 90s that it's probably been there a couple weeks, and I sold it for about $50 plus shipping. So look for the stuff people don't go in the niches that people don't usually go to.
There you go. Now I do remember what I was getting ready to say. My son, he was so funny. Um, the other strategy that I've used in the past to get inventory, back on the garage sale stuff is at the end of the day, like in certain areas, especially like here in Texas, after a certain amount of time and certain day, it's too hot to do garage sales. So if you're paying attention and you've like gone out there to garagesale.com or garagesalefinder.com and you found a garage sale and it's like a 2 day garage sale, like it's Friday, Saturday or Saturday, Sunday, then Sunday afternoon, you might roll by, which is what one of his strategies as well, towards the end of the garage sale and offer to take the stuff off their hands. Or, if you could message whoever's having the garage sale if you found them on Facebook and ask them if they just want to toss the stuff that they have, whatever is left over as it gets closer to the end of the day or when the sun is going to be hotter. So, typically garage sales start around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning because it's cooler, especially in Texas. And then by about 11 o'clock, they're pretty much beat up because it's so hot here in Texas. Like it can almost be 100 degrees at 11 o'clock. So being able to use that strategy of just picking up stuff, that's how I got a bunch of free inventory for myself because I took that strategy from him. That was how he used to get stuff as well because he would go buy garage sales later in the day when those people look like they've been worn down. So, which is a good and a bad strategy, but it still worked. I got a lot of inventory that way. All right. So this is our last one. And the last one is to ask. Look, you have neighbors, friends, relatives who have crap in their house outside of looking for the stuff that's in your own house. You have stuff in your house, and your neighbors have stuff in their house, and relatives and friends have stuff in their house. So if you're looking to get started in this resale game, this is one of the easiest and best ways to get started without spending a dime. See what they need to get rid of. See if they're trying to get some space back. Like, oh my gosh, I have like half of my garage is taken up because I have blah, blah, blah. I had a friend of mine who had started a t-shirt silk screening business. And she's like, I got like 18 boxes of t-shirts. And she's like, she said, they've been in my garage for like 3 years. I haven't done anything with it. I got a silk screen machine and blah, blah, blah. And so she was like, I just never got around to it. And it is just sitting there and I need to get rid of this stuff. And you just never know what can come your way by accident because you ask. I think some people are, afraid of doing that. As a single mom with two special needs kids, when I needed to keep the lights on, keep the roof over our head, and keep water coming out the faucet, I was not afraid to ask. And so I would ask, and I got a bunch of inventory given to me in my first year, my second year, absolutely free. I didn't spend any money for. So it was 100% profit at that point. The only thing I had to do was spend my time taking pictures and listing it. And that was it. And I love that. So ask if you're in that situation where you need to make some money. I'm not going to say everything that they give you is going to sell. And yes, you will get a bunch of crap that you can't do anything with. But I am saying that there's always that possibility that, if they give you 3 tubs worth of crap and you find 50 things in those tubs worth of crap that are worth $10 or $20 or whatever, that's money you didn't have before and you didn't have to spend a penny to get it. So that's my suggestion. Anything you want to add to that, Kelly?
Yeah, if you get a bunch of stuff you can't sell, but it's still donatable, a lot of places, if you donate to like Goodwill, some Goodwills, and like I say, all Goodwills, check with your local Goodwill, but if you donate to them, you will get a coupon for their store.
There you go. And that can help you as well. So,
And don't forget to set a budget when you're going out thrifting and stuff, because you can go crazy, buy a bunch of stuff, and then you have nothing left in the bank. So set yourself a budget when you go shopping. You're like, okay, I'm gonna spend it at $50, or I'm gonna take 100. I'm gonna take maybe $100, $200 with me to go garage sales, and then whatever's left over, I can use that thrift stores for the rest of the week. Set yourself a budget.
there you go. All right. So with that, I do want to invite you all to sign up. Let me just go back for just a second. With that, I do invite you to tune into the eCom Sellers Podcast. Again, we give e-commerce news, tips, and more. Definitely tune into next week's episode of the eCom Sellers Podcast, where we will be sharing more tips So tune in, share it with a friend, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook. We are happy to share whatever tips we have that's going to help you to make money and be profitable. And if you find that this is helpful, definitely type something in the comments. And if you have any thrifting related questions, type that in the comments so that Miss Kelly can respond to you personally. All right. So with that, I do want to invite you to sign up for our free webinar Wednesdays. This Wednesday, we're going to be talking about low cost, quick side hustles. If you're a person that's looking to make some money, like we just gave you a bunch of tips that has to do with reselling. So you can go back and just rewatch that because that is an easy way to get started. We gave you, there's zero costs and some of the strategies that we gave you, like zero cost, just your time. So definitely go in, because here's the deal: to create a listing on eBay costs you nothing. You only pay when there's only a fee when you actually have a sale. So there's nothing that it's going to cost you. You normally get several listings for free. So I'm just saying. But you can sign up for the low cost quick side hustles webinar. It is going to be at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on the 7th. You can go to bit.ly/, and you do have to put the case sensitive. Low is uppercase, cost is uppercase, side is uppercase, and hustles is uppercase. So it has to be specific. It can't be mixed case. I mean, it can't be like all lowercase or all uppercase. Or you can just scan the QR code that's in your screen right now so that way you can tune in for our webinar Wednesdays if you're looking for some additional ways in which you can make money on the side. And we do have our niche and keyword research workshop that is coming to a close this week. So you can sign up for it and get part 1 and participate in part 2. All you have to do is to go to swiy.co/niche research. Again, swiy.co/niche research. It's at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Our next workshop after this one is all about Walmart. So if you wanted to get started on Walmart, you definitely don't want to miss that workshop. So this is the niche and keyword research workshop. Check it out. And if you're looking for a list of products that you could sell, we do have an arbitrage leads list. It's online arbitrage and retail arbitrage. The average ROI for items that are on the list is over 35%. I mean, we have some that are 100% ROI. Some of them are 50% ROI, which is bananas and great at the same time. And the majority of the profit is clearly over $20. We have some that the profit is $50, $100. But the great thing about this list that makes it so insanely affordable is that it's $12.50 a week. We give you 200 leads, 50 every single week, and you're only paying $50. So you get 200 leads every month. We break it down into 50 leads a week, and you only pay $50 for the entire month. That comes out to being $12.50 a week for 50 leads. Leads that you could turn around and make, I don't know, 20 times, 30 times, 1,000 times that number in profit. The great thing about our leads list is every week we make sure that we have replenishables and consumables on the list so that way you have the opportunity to find what I love to refer to as your steady eddies, the things that are going to consistently make you money no matter what, those things that will stabilize your recurring income. And right now, consumables and replenishables are the things that people are buying. They're buying consumables, the things that they need, the necessities. So you want to find or get this list and pull those replenishables out that are necessities replenishables and sell those. So sign up for the arbitrage leads list. You can go to ecomsellersacademy.com/RAOA leads. Again, ecomsellersacademy.com/RAOA leads. Pay $12.50 a week. That ends up being $50 a month for 200 leads. That's bananas. You should do it. So again, you can go to ecomsellersacademy.com/RAOA leads. Get 200 leads for the month, 50 a week. And all you have to do is pay $50 a month. That's $12.50 a week. So with that, I hope this information is helpful. I hope that you will tune in for another episode of the eCom Sellers Podcast so that we can share with you more e-commerce news, tips, and more. My name is Nicole Whitlock.
I'm Kelly, the eCom onboard.
And we do this every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Tune in for another episode of the eCom Sellers Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will say goodbye for now. Bye, y'all.